Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Welcome to a new session of your Class 11 Entrepreneurship Children. After seeing about the ways of generating ideas and evaluation of ideas, today we are going to see about feasibility study. So, Center for Entrepreneurship at University of Rochester explained that a feasibility study can be defined as a controlled process for identifying problems and opportunities, determining objectives, describing situations, defining successful outcomes, and assessing the range of cost and benefits associated with several alternatives for solving a problem. So, feasibility study is after coming up with an idea, right? What are we doing? A controlled process for identifying problems and opportunities. So, first we will be, after coming up with an idea, we are identifying what are all the opportunities with that particular idea, right? So, what are all the business venture we can explore, and we are also identifying the problems with that particular idea. And also determining objectives. So, what is the objective for starting this business? With this business, what are all the things we are going to do? That will be determined, and then describing situations, defining successful outcomes. So, whatever the situations the business will face, it could be a good or a bad situation. So, what are all the things it is going to face? That will be identified, and then the successful outcomes. So, if it is going to be some outcome, whatever the outcome is, how far it is going to be successful, right? So, for example, how far we are going to reach a market, how far we are going to give the product which will satisfy the customer at its best. All these will be calculated, and assessing the range of cost and benefits associated with several alternatives for solving a problem. So, for solving, see, an entrepreneur creates or innovates the things that will satisfy the customer and will bring them out of a problem. Problem is not a personal problem, nothing like that. Something which people demand, but they do not get. Yes? So, for solving that particular demand or a need, entrepreneur works to give up a solution, right? So, what will be the cost involved for that, and what is the benefit we are going to get for giving this solution, right? So, we are satisfying the needs of the consumers. On that case, what is the benefit we will receive, right? That has to be studied, and the information gathered and presented in feasibility study will help entrepreneurs too. So, we are just going to see how the results we get from this feasibility study, the information we get from this feasibility study, how far it is going to be helpful for entrepreneurs. That is what we are going to see now. So, first, list in detail all the things they need to make the business work. So, to start the business and to run the business on a routine basis, they will at least be able to enlist what are all the things required, right? And then identify logistical and other business related problems and solutions. So, what are all the other problems and solutions which we are going to find related to business? So, what could be a problem arising and what is going to be the solution for that, right? That has to be checked, and develop marketing strategies to convince a bank or investor that their business is worth considering as an investment. So, not every entrepreneur is very well to do just to do business on their own. Okay, there are entrepreneurs who can do business on their own, but many in the case they require someone else to support them financially. It could be a bank loan, it could be any other investors, it could be any other venture capitalist. So, anybody can be there. They expect someone to invest in their business to support them. So, on that case, this feasibility study, how far the business is going to work out, what are all the problems we are going to face, what are the solutions we have for that, what are all the activities we are going to undertake, everything about the business, they have to present to them so that they will be convinced that it is worth to invest in this particular business. That convincing part is very important, so that we will not be running out of capital. Serve a solid foundation for developing their business plan. So the foundation should be very strong just to carry on the business. So once at the basic level, when we are able to settle ourselves in the market, definitely we can be more successful, right? So the business plan, based on the business plan, the foundation has to be laid strong. And then even if entrepreneurs have a great business idea, they still have to find a cost-effective way to market and sell their products and services. So even if they are going to have a very great business idea, okay, so they should find a cost-effective way. So any business without without cost-effective strategy will not earn much profit. Whatever expense happens, let it go. I will sell my product somehow. That is not going to give us profit. I should, wherever possible, we should reduce the cost in such a way that the profit will increase. See, anyway, one day or the other, we will earn profit. But when we reduce the cost and earn the same level of profit also, it will be at the higher level, right? And then, for example, most commercial spaces place restrictions on businesses that can have a dramatic impact on income. A lease may limit business hours or days, parking spaces, restrict the product or service that can be offered in some cases, even limit the number of customers a business can receive each day. So we are seeing many retail outlets in a mall, right? So usually, very often, these places are given on lease. So when we give for lease, okay, we get a regular income from the shopkeeper, and also we have the control with ourselves because we are still the owner there. On that case, we have the complete control with us. Like parking space should be occupied like this. If it is going to be 1 hour parking, when you go to many malls in Chennai itself, here itself, we can see that. Yes, for 1 hour or 2 hours parking, it will be 50 rupees, and more than that, 100, 150. It goes on increasing, doubling, tripling. On that case, the control is with the owner. So in spite of getting a regular income from the shopkeepers, we will also have other incomes which will restrict others, and also we will get more income. So that is how the planning should be made, right? So when it comes to the feasibility study, we have 4 different types of feasibility study. One is market feasibility, financial feasibility, technical feasibility, and organizational feasibility. So first comes market feasibility. So it includes the description of the industry, current market, anticipated future market potential, competition, sales projections, potential buyers, etc. So market feasibility is all about the type of industry we are getting into, and we should check about the current market for that particular industry, and then anticipated future market. Anticipated is forecasted or expected, okay? Forecasted or expected. So what is going to be the future market for this particular product, and then the competition for the particular product, then the sales projections. So how far the sales will be there in a near future period, and the potential buyers. So how far the people will consume the product, who will be the consumers, right? So it could be a target audience, target customers, where we always say a product for children age group from 3 to 10, that is the target consumer, right? So that is all about the market feasibility. So we are just learning about the product or the industry which we choose, and then we are seeing about the current market condition and the future market requirement, and after that we are seeing about the competition and also the sales projections and buyers. The second type is technical feasibility. So details on how to deliver a product or service, that is the materials, labor, transportation, where the business will be located, technology needed, etc. So technical feasibility is all about how are we going to deliver a product or service. So what are all the raw materials we are going to use, what is going to be the production process, then how far the labor will be used, what will be the transportation for taking the product from the production place to the consumption place, right? So, and then where will the business is going to be located, and what are all the technology we are going to use. Studying about all these gives us technical feasibility. And then coming to financial feasibility. So it projects how much startup capital is needed, sources of capital, and returns on investment. So here, after finalizing a business, we are going to decide what is the amount we are going to invest, right? So startup capital is nothing but the initial investment made to start the industry, initial investment that is made to start up the firm, right? And then what are all the sources of capital we have? So these sources will include shares, debentures, loan, venture capitalist. So all these comes under the sources of capital, or even it could be our own savings also, right? Savings of the proprietor will also be included here. And then after investing all these things, what are we working for? To get some return, to get some amount which we will get it as a profit or interest or whatever it is. So what is going to be the return on investment? So usually the capital will be charged some interest on capital we may receive, or we may also receive the profits. So what is the return we are going to get? That has to be studied, and that forms the part of financial feasibility. And then comes organizational feasibility. It defines the legal and corporate structure of the business, which may include professional background information about the founders and what skills they can contribute to business. So this is all about the legal and corporate structure of the business. Are we complying with all the rules and regulations, right? For example, to start up with a partnership firm, there is a separate act. Indian Partnership Act in India we have, which is of 1932. And after that, when we come to companies, we have the Companies Act, yes, of 2013. Previously it was 1956, and many amendments were made in 2013. So now the rule that is followed by the companies is the Companies Act of 2013. So like this, for cooperative societies, there is a separate act, and for setting up a bank, we have RBI Act. All these we have, Banking Regulation Act we have. So all these things will regulate a firm's activities. So are we complying to all the rules and regulations? What is going to be the structure of the business? So if it is going to be like partnership, which means all the partners will decide on all the affairs of the business, or if it is going to be a company, and if it is a company, how many shareholders will be there, how many shares will be issued, all the stuffs, okay, all these to be decided at this level, and this is what we call it as organizational feasibility. So this will also include the professional background of the founders. So who are going to start up the company, we should understand about them also, right? So their professional background has to be analyzed, and what are all the skills they can contribute for the business, that will also be analyzed at this point of time. So that is all about the types of feasibility study. See you soon in the next session with the features of feasibility study. Thank you. To receive our online lessons, please press the subscribe button and you will receive the latest updates. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.